Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 4 is 2 days away, and every Friday morning I take about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, as long as they have questions, and talk with my Twitch chat. If you have not watched the stream, Monday through Friday I'm live every single morning for a couple of hours, and then on Sunday morning, right before kickoff, the last 45 minutes, jump over to twitch.tv/Al_smizzle, or just type smizzle.tv/live. Easier way to get there. Links are right down below in the description for that. And catch the live show. Much easier for me to get to know you if you come on over there, or if you jump into our Discord. Again, links for everything down below in the description. Click show more. We are going to talk about all of the NFL DFS combinations you could come up with, and the questions that my chat has, whether they're cash game questions, tournament questions, stacking questions, philosophy questions, whatever, bankroll management, whatever it is that they want to talk about, we talk about every single Friday. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video. We definitely need over 1,000 likes on this video. You know, I pay my children with likes. Like, they get a big, nice, heaping, steaming plate of thumbs ups every night for dinner. So,
He's a legend.
hey, Most, thank you for the Prime sub. I need you guys to feed my children with those likes. Also, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. Leave me a reply down below. Let me know how you're doing this week. And let's hit it.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League enters week 4. We are at about 1,986 spots filled as the time that we're recording this video. It is about 10 a.m. on the West Coast on Friday. We got to get this thing filled. If we do, they might make it bigger for week 5. Right now, it's a pretty large tournament considering that it's a $10 3-max tournament. Can't mass enter this one, can't enter any more than 3 lineups in it, and there is absolutely no rake. The rake, for those of you who don't know, is the service charge that DraftKings charges to run the tournament. So like, usually a $35,000 tournament is going to have $37,000 in entry fees, $40,000 in entry fees that is going to just be taken out of the prize pool, right? And they'll pay out $35K, but take $40K in entry fees. This way, less people that you're competing against, absolutely no rake coming out of it, less people you got to beat to get into the money, and it's a good community too. So jump in the league. Link will be down below in the pinned comment and in the description. Make sure that you get in. First thing that we're going to do today, we're going to go check out Underdog Fantasy and the pick'em sheets, because you guys seem to like those. So we're going to fill out like a little 3. You can fill out a 2-play card. It's like a parlay card. 2-play, 3-play, 4, 5, whatever. 2 pays you 3-1, 3 pays you 6-1, 4, if you got to get them all right, gives you 10-1, and 5 gives you 20-1. Biggest payout, but not the best odds. We stick to the 2s and the 3s, and we try to correlate them kind of like in a tournament setting. So like, Jalen Hurts, 296 yards against Kansas City. Ooh, I really want to take that over. And also, like, unders are sharper, right? Like, the unders come in, a player can get injured. There's a lot of ways that these guys can go under the total, but like, unders suck, right? I don't want to bet unders. Unders are no fun. I want to have fun. I want to bet overs, right? I'm on team fun. Overs, I've always got a chance. As long as that guy is not injured, I've got a chance to move forward. Ooh, Jared Goff, over 1 interception. 1 interception or more. By the way, use promo code ALSMIZZLE, all one word, and you get $10 when you deposit money on your first deposit to the site. So $10 free if you jump in and use promo code ALSMIZZLE, all one word. Ooh, I like this one. So Kittle might not go. I'm going to take the over on Garoppolo. I'm going to take the over on Deebo Samuel receiving yards, just in case Kittle doesn't go, because he just popped up as not being a thing. And God, Russ Wilson. Nah, I'm not going to correlate that. 55 rush yards for Najee. 7.5 receptions for Devontae. I think that goes over. I'm just going to take that over. Those are my 3. We'll scroll back up. You play whatever ones you want. You play the one-offs. You do whatever you want. I'm going to finish this card. 6-1. Confirm. $25 to win 150. There's my 3 for 1. So go over to Underdog Fantasy. Promo code ALSMIZZLE on your first deposit. Get you $10. Old Elvis, thank you for the 10 months. 10 months already? I know, man. Over Bobby Tree's rush. I didn't even see that one. Damn it. I'm going to have to go back through that after I get off this stream and figure things out where I really want to get with it. You know that chat loves to tell me when a lineup has no correlation in wins. RG did a look at the first 3 weeks and found that this year, no primary bringback is doing better than previous years. Just small sample size. Yeah, it's 3 weeks. So that's why we don't look at just the winning lineup. I want to look at the top 100. I want to look at the top 1%. Our goal, obviously, is to win tournaments. But how do you win tournaments? You have to put yourself in a position to win tournaments. You need a combination of skill and luck to win a tournament here. It's very hard to beat, even in like the Smiths game, it's hard to beat 3,499 of your closest friends. It's not an easy thing to do. You're going to have to take some shots. You're going to have to get all the way up to the top. But if you're mass center, if you got 20 lineups, you got 100 lineups or 150 lineups or whatever it is, if you're playing the mini-max and entering 150 times, go for it. But the goal is you want to get more of your lineups into the top 5% of the field. The field will always have 5% in the top 5% because that's the field and it's the top 5%. But if you get like 10% of your lineups into the top 5%, if you get 15% of your lineups into the top 5%, you have a better chance to win that week. If you get, 2 to 3 to 4% into the top 1%, you're basically one touchdown reception away, right? You're one Antonio Gibson's 74-yard touchdown catch from last week in week 3 away from moving from like a 1,000th place or 500th place in a tournament up to number 1, assuming that nobody in front of you has that player. So that's why we look to overweight the top 1% and overweight the top 5% in tournaments. And the easiest path to overweighting the top 1 and the top 5% is to take a look at what ends up in the top 1 and 5% in terms of lineup building strategy versus what the field is not doing, and overweight those strategies, which is why that we double stack our quarterbacks, which is why we bring it back with a player on the opposing team, and which is why we utilize the secondary stack. That's why we do those things. It's about strategy, it's about math, it's about overweighting the field and the things that we do. UNC, you could drop a link in the chat if you want to. Last week, all 150 of your lineups cashed in the mini. Holy sweet mother of God. Nobody ever cashes 150 of 150, Bacon. That's ridiculous. But that's the thing. So last week, a lot of those quarterbacks, and we went over this on the recap video. So also, it seems that a lot of people watching don't know that we moved last year. We moved the recap video to the second channel, Al Smizzle Games. If you just search YouTube for Al Smizzle Games, you'll find my second channel. Every Monday, the recap video goes up there where I break down everything that I did the previous week. All the plays from my Best Buys article, how they scored, where we got lucky, where we got unlucky, where it was right, where it was wrong. We look at my tournament lineups. We look at my results, how I did. Everything is on that video. It's always on the second channel every Monday. Oh boy, Justin Fields on top of the optimal. The question is how many people are going to go back to that, right? I think that that's an interesting kind of tournament question. Are people going to go back to that or are they not? Right? Are they going to be too afraid? Because I think people are just going to run away from it. I don't think they want to do that. I think they're scared, to be honest. Fields even starting? I mean, I'm assuming that he's going to start. Am I firing up the Tennessee guy? Okay, so here's the question for people that want to get caught up here. And we can go look at Fantasy Labs at the Vegas page and see what's happened, because I didn't look at this morning yet. So Julio Jones and AJ Brown right now are questionable for this week. Jones is not present for Thursday's practice. We got to wait for the Friday practice report to see if they went, and then what people say, what the coaches say in the press conference after. So he's questionable right now. AJ Brown also questionable right now. Hamstring, missed Thursday practice. The most important practices are Thursday and Friday. If you miss both Thursday and Friday, you probably aren't playing on Sunday. You can, right? I don't need you to tell me the one guy that did, well, there's one time this guy did, yeah, but these other 300 these other 300 guys didn't. There's always going to be an outlier. The outlier does not disprove the theory that I just laid out there. So if both of these cats are out, now we got like Westbrook, Incline, right? Who's seen a good amount of usage. We saw Chet get some targets and a touchdown. But like this offense gets a massive downgrade if Julio Jones and AJ Brown are not on the outside occupying DBs. It just does. Doesn't mean that they can't have good days. Doesn't mean that Tennessee can't score some points. But like, it's just different, right? It's not the same situation. So like we go over here. This is a free page if you want to go over to Fantasy Labs. And again, if you ever want to look for a discount on Fantasy Labs, it's right down there. So we come over here to Vegas. It's got to be off the board at this point, right? Well, the receivers don't really move the totals all that much. But like collectively, they do. This total has come down 1 point. It will move more if they're completely out. Tennessee was 7-point favorites. They are now 6-point favorites. Their team total was 26. It is now 25. The Jets are pretty much the same. So if both of them miss, this might come down a little bit more. I liked the Jets defense before coming into this week. They put a lot of pressure. They're at home. Tennessee is not running as much play action as they did in previous seasons. So like, I kind of thought that they were a good play before, but now it's a different situation. If there's nobody on the outside that can do anything, they may just go to like a 1930s offense and run Derrick Henry another 35 times. Jonathan Taylor red zone regression week. So like, it's going to regress over the rest of the season, considering the fact that they keep doing what they've done so far. So like, regression takes the assumption that usage will remain the same. So what we're talking about here is Jonathan Taylor, who, again, limited practice on Thursday. We'll monitor Friday. I'm assuming he's going to be fine. But like, people that drafted him, Jonathan Taylor managers who drafted him, are looking at this and saying, this is not what I paid for. This is not a first round draft pick. I'm not getting any return here. This is not a great outcome. And I agree with you. It's not a great outcome. But Jonathan Taylor leads the entire NFL in terms of inside the 5 carries. And if you have heard me say this line a bunch of times in the last couple of years, the highest leverage carries that any running back can get are the inside the 5 carries, not red zone carries. There's a big difference between carrying the ball inside the 5 or touchdown expectation on carrying a ball from inside the 5 as opposed to carrying a ball on the 19-yard line. So I differentiate between carries inside the 5 versus carries that happen on like the entire red zone. And Jonathan Taylor has 6 of those. He has 0 touchdowns. If he's going to get 2 inside the 5 carries a week, he's not going to end the season with 0 touchdowns. An anonymous donation for $20 to No Kid Hungry. Thank you very much for donating, whoever that was. I appreciate all the kindness. You guys have been ridiculous today. Even before we started recording, tons of donations to No Kid Hungry. Thank you guys very, very much. You guys have been ridiculous. So appreciate all the kindness. We're trying to get to $25,000 raised by the end of the year for No Kid Hungry. If the page will load. There they are. For every $5,000 that our community raises, I will be matching $5,000 up to $25,000, making a total, hopefully, of at least $50,000 raised with my donation and all of yours to No Kid Hungry. 1 in 6 kids in America suffers from food insecurity, and we're going to try to do what we can as a community of daily fantasy players who, if we can afford to play daily fantasy and enter these tournaments every weekend and do this fun stuff, we can afford to donate some money to, giving kids school breakfasts and school lunches across America, because no kid should have to not know where their next meal is coming from. So getting back to Jonathan Taylor, the next reasonable question here is, but Al, what about Nyheim Hines? Well, Jonathan Taylor is out touching Nyheim Hines 14-3. I don't remember the exact number. I think it's 14-3 in the red zone and 6 to 0 in terms of inside the 5 carries. Their roles are very defined. Now, that does not mean that Jonathan Taylor is a bad play. It does not mean that Nyheim Hines is a bad play. I think Nyheim Hines is fine in week 4. But, like, know what you're getting, right? You're getting James White. If you're paying for $4,900 for Nyheim Hines, you're getting James White. Okay? Which is totally okay. If he gets you 14 or 18 points this week against Miami, who's one of the worst teams, the second worst team in terms of DraftKings points allowed to opposing running backs, we can go over to rotogrinders and look. Let's search for their DVP tool. Again, this is a free tool. Rotogrinders, hover over NFL, go down to all tools, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom, and it's the defense versus position tool. Sort by most allowed. Seahawks, number 1, 37.3 points allowed. They've been bad against the run. This is only what running backs have done. So if a wide receiver ran for like a 50-yard touchdown, that does not count. It's defense versus position, not just rush yards against or quarterbacks running. It's not that. It's just this. So the Dolphins have allowed 121 rushing yards per game and 1.3 touchdowns per game to opposing running backs on 28 carries. They have also allowed over 9 targets and 6.5 catches per game to the position. You want to play Jonathan Taylor? Go ahead. Green light for me. You want to play Nyheim Hines this week as a value play? Go for it. Fine by me. Both of them can have really good days on volume. And also, one thing that Jonathan Taylor has that not every running back has, right? Derrick Henry has it. Nick Chubb has it. Jonathan Taylor has it. And it's that big splash, big playability at running back because of how big and strong and fast he is. He has the ability to just run away from defenses if he can get to the second level. Well, Miami has been terrible at running back yards allowed after first touch, like after first contact. So he's able to break tackles, and they're not good at tackling. And I like it when the puzzle pieces fit together. UNC, I could see them throwing Nyheim a screen in the red zone, something like that. Yeah. They're both viable. JoJo hitting up. I think they're both viable plays this week. And I'm not including, I'm going to give you a sneak preview. On my list of players that I have here, yeah, somebody's going to try and freeze frame that. I know it. Of players that I had that I was going to talk about on 5 Under 5, which comes out every Saturday morning early. You got to wake up early in the morning to get that 5 Under 5. Well, you don't have to wake up early. You want to see the first person. Because I know some of y'all like to be the person that types in replies first. You want to be first? That one's going to come out at like 7 a.m. Eastern time. So you West Coasters are going to have to get up at like 4 a.m. if you want to get first in the comments on that one. But he was on the list for my 5 Under 5, but I decided to go another route for Nyheim Hines because Nyheim Hines is going to be under 5%. First to freeze frame. I got this. I will be first. On a Saturday? Not a chance. You must not have kids. I don't get to sleep past 7 a.m. Bills are favored by 17. Does that make the Bills running backs more attractive in GPPs for me? Still kind of gross. Definitely gross. Okay, first of all, it's just because it's the Bills, right? That it's gross to me. I don't ever want to play Bills running backs. Not with this offense. Thurman Thomas? Sure. But one, I don't know which one's going to play more snaps and get more touches. First off, right? Secondly, this is garbage. And they've looked good. Both of them have looked good. You could get vultured. They get inside the 10-yard line, and Josh Allen gets 8 to 10 touchdowns every single year on the ground. So their primary goal line back is Josh Allen, and their primary way of scoring touchdowns is Josh Allen throwing the ball, and he's been tremendous at it, both this year and last. So sure, could they get there? Yeah, they're priced about right. They're fine. I think they're fine, but you're never getting 20 carries out of either of them. And like, I like that Moss is a little bit more involved in the passing game, but like, he's not even getting a ton of targets. You have to get touchdowns. Zach Moss has 3 touchdowns in his first 2 games on a ceiling of 16 touches. You know, like, we're talking about what, 21 carries and 5 catches. He's got 26 touches and 3 touchdowns. That's not sustainable, guys. 1 touchdown every 9 touches is not sustainable. That will not happen for the rest of the year. Now, like, I know what's going to happen. Zach Moss might score a touchdown this week, and then people go, see, he scored another touchdown. That's not the freaking point. He's not going to continue scoring 1 touchdown every 9 touches for the rest of 2021. So I think it's kind of gross. Doesn't mean it can't work. I just think it's kind of gross, and it's kind of gross considering all the other guys in that range, right? Melvin Gordon III, limited at practice on Thursday. If he is out, right, now we have a volume situation at running back for the Javonte Williams rocket ship. He would go from a guy getting Moss Singletary type usage to getting 20 plus touches in that game. Totally different situation if MG3 is out. So you have that in that price range. Right now, it does look like Daryl Henderson is going to play this weekend. He's only 5,600, and when he has been healthy, he has handled like 95% of the running back snaps and 95% of the running back touches. If he is out, that would mean that Sony Michel at 5,200 is going to handle that same workload and did exceptionally well with it last week against an extremely tough Tampa Bay rush defense. Mike Davis is popping in everybody's projections and like, okay, you're going to get a lot of, it's a good floor, but like not a great ceiling. If you want to play Patterson, go for it. Connor against the Rams, probably not considering that. Talked about Javonte Williams. Trey Sermon, half the snaps for San Francisco. Going up against Seattle, the worst team. Like, there's just a lot in this range. Nyheim Hines, we talked about. Cordarrelle Patterson in that same, pass catching role, been a little bit on the right side of variance with his touchdown scoring so far. Like, it's just, there's a lot. So, like, all of them are going to hold each other down in terms of percentage. James White, pour some out for James White and his hip, not his hib. I don't even know what a hib is. I know what a hip is. I just can't say it. Thoughts on the Philly tight ends? They're fine. They're not thrilling. Let me pull up NFL Savant real quick. So we'll go to here. NFL Savant. We'll hit Eagles. We'll hit targets. The guy getting the most targets is Devonta Smith. The most targets, the most air yards, everything that we want in any wide receiver, let alone a rookie wide receiver. 52% of the completions, 52% of his targets have turned into completions, and it's not his fault, in my opinion, based on what I've seen of all the targets that have gone his way. Like, they just keep getting batted. Right? Like, they're just high throws, or they're throws in traffic, or and he's not doing a bad job on coming down with those, but like everybody else is like, when their target has like a 70%, so I'd assume that this is going to rise. It can't just be him. It might not be, but it could just be him. Goddard gets the more red zone targets. Like, Ertz is sitting at 11%, Goddard's at 12%. Like, they're both fine. Like, they're not thrilling. They're nice. You're kind of coin flipping. I don't like coin flipping. Is it okay to build lineups with Hurts and not Mahomes to get more salary for player stacks and save money on entries? Most definitely. 100%. Like, you can set rules in your lineup builder to do whatever it is that you want it to do. So, like, if you want it to build, you can put an exception. Like, every quarterback must have a double stack, except this quarterback. Exactly one bring back, except this quarterback. Right? Or except these teams. Like you could say, look, I want to allow Hill Kelsey without Mahomes. Just set up the lineup builder to do that. Make the rule that says it's okay. Like limit to one player on a team without the opposing quarterback, except Kansas City. And then you'll get more than one player on Kansas City without Mahomes, while every other team will be limited to one without their quarterback. So I like Hurts with one better than a double stack. I'll allow it with Hurts, just like I'll allow it with Lamar. But like, here's my problem. What does it take for Lamar Jackson to win you a tournament? Right? This type of points would be the type of points you need for him to be a tournament winning quarterback. He had 239 yards that day, only one touchdown. He did most of his damage on the ground. So that while that is possible, right? That is a possible outcome for him, right? Something that he could certainly end up with. There's also other outcomes that are possible. Let's go over to ESPN real quick. ESPN player Lamar Jackson. I'm going to look at some game logs real fast. Yeah, Lamar. Let's go here. Let's look at game log. Let's bring up his 2019 season. So the days that he had ridiculous days that won tournaments, right? 5 touchdown passes. 3 touchdown passes. 4 touchdown passes. 2 touchdown passes. 5, 3, 3. If we're playing a quarterback, it's to try and gain access to their top 1% games that put you in a position to win a tournament. Right? Ran for 108, fine, had a bad day passing. He didn't need it here, but like, this was a good fantasy day. This was a good fantasy day. Here's another one. We had 124 and 2, but only one passing. Like, I'll allow the skinny stacks, but the amount of times he throws for multiple touchdowns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times last year, he threw for multiple touchdowns. You want to capture all of that upside. We're not playing, we're not playing for the median projection. You don't ever MME at most, you play 20 lineups. Oh, there you go. There's plenty of people that hand build. There's plenty of people that use projections and use optimizers and things like that. Like, build your lineups how you build your lineups. The rules are the same, right? Your rules for lineup building to attack the top 1% of a tournament, which is how you should be building tournament lineups. If you're building tournament lineups to try and min cash, like, just please stop. Just play 50-50s at that point. Just if you're building to just make the money, play 50-50s, or play triple ups. Because there's no point in trying to build an 81st percentile lineup. You want to try and build 1 percentile lineups. Top 1 percentile lineups. And if you do that, the easiest way to overweight what's happening in the top 1% is double stack, bring back, secondary stack. Correlate your lineups and shoot for the top outcomes with all of your quarterbacks. Does that quarterback have a chance to put up 25 to 35 DraftKings points? And if they do, if they fall in that range, what can they sustain? Like I said, I'll allow for running quarterbacks like Lamar, like less like Kyler this year so far, but also Kyler and Jalen Hurts, guys like that who can get there on 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown to allow for a skinny stack. You feel like you're targeting low percentages too much? It's possible. Like, that's the other thing. You don't need... There's no prize for having the lowest cumulative tournament percentage for all of your 9 players. You don't win a prize for that. Right? Guys, my lineup is only 7.2%. I won the tournament. The only metric that matters at the end of the day is points scored. But the majority of the lineups that are in the top 1% have less than 130% total rostership, whatever you want to call it. You know, like if you add up the cumulative of all of them. So people say, well, this guy is 30%, so that means that I can't play him, right? No, it does not mean that at all. That's not at all what it means. Like, who is the most popular play on this week's slate, do you think? Like somebody like Davante Adams? Going to be super popular? So, like, chat, what percent do you think Davante Adams is going to... I don't care what projection system you use. They've got, you know, the P-own column or whatever. Like, what do you think he's going to be? Whether it's Adams, you know, whether it's Amari Cooper, people are going to flood Cooper Kupp because he's been ridiculous so far. So, well, why wouldn't it keep going? Right? Let's say they're 25%. Let's say Davante Adams is 25%. You know? I still have 105% that I could spread around these other 8 positions. You don't have to fade a player because of their individual percent played. You don't have to do that. Right? Now, there's things that you can do for leverage. Like, well, everybody's going to be on Adams because everybody expects Adams to be the guy and to score all the touchdowns. So, like, okay, here, boom, there, leverage. He's going to be less played, and every touchdown that Aaron Jones scores takes a touchdown potentially, or there's a finite amount of touchdowns that a team can score in a given week. So every touchdown that Aaron Jones scores is a touchdown that Davante Adams did not score. So start viewing your lineups as a collective, as opposed to viewing the individual players and their percentages, and your chances will improve. And that's the other thing about these double stack bringbacks, is that it makes it a lot easier to differentiate lineups, not only on the individual, but the combination. So, like, Allen double stacks are what, you know, one of the things that won last week, or Brady double stacks, or Stafford double stacks. It wasn't about the one guy. It was about the other guys that you put into that stack that allowed you to get a lower total overall. Is there a total per lineup you use in Showdown? Not really. Showdown's different because everything's so blown up. Like Showdown, I tend to that low percentage player group is how I get exposure to differentiated lineups. When I play cash, what is my percent for cash and GPP bankroll managed? Like, it changes. Like the old, I guess it's a cop out at this point. It's like, 80, 20, 10 is like what we said for years. It's like, it's hard to do that if you're playing high stakes. It's impossible nowadays to do that when you're playing high stakes. But like, the rules that I would rather you guys stick to is, if you're playing cash games, enter as many head-to-heads against different opponents as you can. At low stakes, I meant. If you're playing low stakes, if $1, $2, $5 head-to-heads, get as many different opponents as you can, right? And limit them on DraftKings. You can limit for them to be able to take only one of your lineups at each buy-in. So, like, they could buy a 1, a 2, and a 5 if you're playing 50 of each, but they can't take 50 of your $1 games. So, essentially, you're playing $50 head-to-head against one person. Differentiate against all those different opponents, because there is still a massive edge at $1, $2, $5. I just can't get enough volume down there at those levels to do anything. And then play the large field single entry double ups and 50-50s. Right? So when we go over here to the lobby, we'll click NFL to get the sliders and stuff. We'll hit 50-50s and double ups. Right? Massive $5 double up, single entry. Enter this. Single entry, enter this. So if it's in your bankroll, right? You want these large field. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just got to be faster than half the people. Right? So there's like what does this pay? Off the top of my head, it pays 4,500 people, maybe 4,200 people. So like there's 5,000 bears, right? They can only eat one person. Just be faster than the bears. That's all you got to do. But focus your play on these single entry large field double ups. There's some, you see this letter M? That means multi-entry. Don't enter those. Right? Enter the single entry double ups, where people have to pick a specific cash game lineup and put that in there. And there's a lot of people, and at the lower dollar levels, there's a lot of bad players. No offense if you're a lower dollar player. There's just way more of you. And if there's way more of you, there's way more bad people in that level. You know, just the sheer numbers of bad players at $1, $2 who don't know what they're doing. And if you're watching these videos, or if you're in my stream, or if you're in our Discord and talking to people about cash game strategy and what we should do, and you understand what leverage means, and you understand the rules and the reasons behind the way we're building lineups, you're already way better in terms of having a knowledge base and knowing what you're doing than the players, the general population at $1, $2, $5, right? So if you're here, you're already better. Then it's just about flexing that edge that you have as often as possible. I need faster than the bear merch. Frostbite, print the shirts. Headlock, give me a graphic. I should get a faster than the bear shirt. Smith Gang, we're smarter than the average bear. Ma! The meatloaf! Especially low dollar. Yeah, low dollar's like, I'm telling you, I can't get enough action at low dollar to warrant getting that spread of like to float my tournament play, because I play a lot in tournaments. You know, I've got like $5,000-$6,000 every weekend on tournament. I used to have like $15,000 to $25,000 in tournament action every weekend. For me to have a balance of cash game to tournaments, I would have to play like I'd have to play like $15,000 to $20,000 in cash games. I choose not to do that anymore. Like, there was a time for like 5-6 years that I had $100,000 in play every single Sunday on every main slate between DraftKings and FanDuel. I feel like I'm a worse person when I have that much in play. You know, I feel like I'm a worse person. I feel like I'm a worse father. I feel like I'm a worse husband. I feel like I'm a miserable individual. So I stopped doing it. Like, if I won, I was relieved, and if I lost, I was pissed. So I was like, all right, this is dumb. This is bad for my health. So all right, let's do something else. But that was the reality of the situation. I made a lot of money doing it. But like, I'd rather feel good. Relieved and pissed is never a happy combination. Yes. Yeah, mental health is absolutely crucial. Got to sleep. No, I have no problem sleeping. I would just be pissed off the rest of the day. Like, my wife was like, I could tell when you did not have a good day. I was like, all right, that's the last thing I want. And that's why I always stress to people, 1, play within your means always. And 2, recognize yourself and recognize your emotions and you know, how is this affecting you? You know? So just, you know, it's a thing. Another thing, I did want to touch on this, and I know that it's not like lineup building Q&A stuff, but like, there's a lot of negativity right now. Jojo, thank you very much for the 500 biddies. There's a lot of negativity in the replies on the head-to-head battle from this week. and I feel like it's unwarranted. Davis is a friend of mine. I've known him for like 8 years at this point, and he's a really smart dude. And like, because he chose to play for $50, like there's a lot of negativity in the replies to that video. Guys, he agreed to give up his time during his busy content schedule and content week to come on our show and talk to you guys about giving you a free insight into what he thought about a bunch of different players. And then on top of that, if he wins, he gets no money. He doesn't get paid to be on that show. And if he wins the head-to-head against me, he doesn't win any money either. So like, it's more about, you know, raising awareness and money for charity, that Wednesday show, and giving you guys some analysis in a different, you know, wrapped in a different package, something that's unique to this channel and nobody else in the industry does it like that. And it's like one of my favorite pieces, but like that kind of cheesed me off a little bit, like people just being jerky in the chats to a guy that I consider a friend. So be kind, guys. It's easier to be nice. Yeah, I don't care if we played for $1. I thought it was fine. And all the ad revenue from that video gets donated too. So it is what it is. Let's talk about secondary stacks for a second. So like, a question that I've been asked a few times is, can you use a secondary stack with a running back? Definitely. He still possibly is going to donate $50 more than the haters that are typing the replies. Yeah, probably. So like Alvin Kamara. One, yes, you can use anybody as a secondary stack. Running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Doesn't have to be 2 wide receivers. Doesn't have to be tight ends. My favorite secondary stack this year has been this. You know, hey guys, he's really good. That guy. You click him. Like, here, look. You see this button? If you click on his profile, it has this button here. So like, just do that. And then pick a player on the other team. Al loves Kelsey this week. I love every week. Every week for the last 3 years. Every week. So like, find a player on the other side of that. Okay, well, let's go to Philly. Way over here? Yes. We'll go to Philly. And it's your choice. You want Miles Sanders? Go for it. You want Devonta Smith? As we looked at before, leading him in terms of targets and air yards? Go for it. Dallas Goedert, I'm probably not going to play 2 tight ends, though there is merit for allowing Kelsey to be the only tight end as a second tight end in your lineups. You can set up rules to be able to do that, or just if you're hand building. I would not play 2 tight ends in tournament lineups unless one is Kelsey. Rager, great. Getting enough targets. He's cheap. People aren't going to play him. Use any of those guys as a bring back play. Just Kelsey as a secondary stack has been one of my favorites. Can you use a running back as a secondary? Of course. We have Alvin Kamara, right? If you're not going to use him in a primary, you theoretically could, but I know a lot of people are going to play Kamara this week. But how many people that are going to play Kamara in tournaments this week are going to have him coupled with a New York Giant, right? Probably not going to have both running backs from the same game. Would probably wait until we get some clarity on who is actually going to play. If Golladay is going to play, if Shepard was going to play, was not seen at Friday's practice, which typically means he will not play. Darius Slayton, unlikely to play. So now we have somebody like Kadarius Toney at 3,300 popping up as a viable value play possibly this weekend on the backs of him being available. Right? If 2 to 3 guys in that receiver room that are in front of him who play the majority of the snaps are not going to be viable plays this weekend because they will not be playing any of the snaps, that means that there are a lot of snaps that have to get taken up. So if you want to go with Toney as a bring back play for Kamara and bring down your average cost per player, you know, 8,400 is expensive, 3,300 is not. You want to fill out that tight end spot? I know he's gross. I know. I'm giving you all a second to pick up your remotes off the floor, because I know you just, if you're on a computer right now, you just threw your mouse. If you put this up on your TV when you're watching it on your smart TVs with the YouTube app, you probably just threw your remote on the ground, or you probably dropped your phone. So I'm giving you a couple of seconds to pick them back up. We're good now? Good. He's going to get too many targets for 3K. Like, what he does with those targets, I have no idea. But there's absolutely nobody else to catch the ball, assuming 2 of this 3 is out. And it looks like at least 2 of this 3 is going to be out. So, like, if you want to vomit every time you put him in a line, that's fine, right? It's like you click here, okay, let me tell you, fine, I'll put him in. Like, if that's how you got to do it, then that's how you got to do it. But, like, he's viable. And so is Kadarius, who I don't think you have to vomit if you put the Kadarius in there. He at least looks spry. He's quick. He's fast. He makes some fun moves. He's a fun new toy. He's a rookie. All those sorts of things. Like, I get it. If you don't want to play Evan Ingram, I'm not telling you have to, but, like, he's too cheap. It's like secondary stacks can include anything you want. The best ability is availability. Yes. Even he can make a catch. Yeah, but he can't catch. Look, if they target him 8-9 times, he'll catch 4 of them. Maybe he catches 7. Maybe it's his lucky day. Maybe he catches 6 or 7 of them. Dalvin officially questionable. Is that official? Did he practice? Dalvin Cook is practicing Friday. He's playing. So, like, everybody's questionable now because the NFL removed the probable tag. There's no more probable. So questionable is the thing. Like, if you practice in full on Friday, you're probably playing. So you're probable. What if Titans wide receivers, if Jones and Brown are out? We talked about it at the beginning of the show. It's the ugly guys. There's 3 of them. Yeah, Derrick Henry. Just play Derrick Henry in that spot. Derrick Henry or the Jets D. One or the other. Tommy Tremble. I think he's going to get more snaps and routes than he did before. He does have an injury. You expect him to be questionable. Anybody with any injury has to be questionable. That's the rule. If you put them on an injury report, they're immediately questionable. That's the rule in the NFL. So people see that big red Q and they're like, ah! Like, really, it means that they're on the report. This milk? Questionable. On a hot day, yeah. Is Chumbawamba getting overlooked? No. People are well aware of his work. Running back's weird this week. Running back's super weird. Yeah, properly looked. Like Seattle against San Francisco, like every running back is in the same range. Like they're all here. They're all in this range. Like Barkley against New Orleans, really bad matchup. Najee Harris, he's going to play 90% of the snaps. Coming down to this range, like they're all here. They're all in this range here. Kareem Hunt against Minnesota, sure. Gibson's injured. We'll see what happens there. Right? Gibson's now on these questionable for Sunday's game. Everybody's questionable. Missed practice Thursday and Friday. The running back was spotted going through position drills Friday morning. So he was at practice today, which means probable. But they can't say probable anymore. Montgomery, fine. Hubbard, fine. I think they're all going to be like 15. They're all going to be 15%. All the guys in this range. Henderson goes, maybe he's less than 15. You know? Edwards-Helaire, 10 to 15. You think the Dallas-Carolina game could easily go under? It might. If Carolina's defense is as advertised and Dallas's secondary can shut down DJ Moore to some extent, then 5 for 15. New video. You like Monty? I think he's going to be one of the most popular in the slate. I think Monty and Kamara are going to be two of the most popular in the slate. Any love for CH this week? I mean, he's fine. They want to give him the ball at least last week. Let's see if they continue doing that. You need him to get the ball 20 times. And we would prefer that to be 16 carries, 4 catches. What advice would you give in regards to 20 max on DK? Same. The 20 max on DK is still a really large tournament. It's more about, is it a large field? Is it a small field? You know, the way you attack a large field is going to be the same way that you attack any other large field tournament. Whether it's 3 max, whether it's, you know, you still want to keep your lineup under 130. Single entry small field is different. Kyle Juszczyk is 4K under 5%. Talk you out of it. Well, if Kittle's out, I like that a lot. To me, it's Kittle dependent. I think that's a very Kittle dependent situation. Look, injuries are going to happen. They're going to change the way that things look when it comes to Sunday morning. So if you want to talk NFL DFS or any subject, become a channel member here. Click the join button. It's $5 a month. You get access to all of the subscriber channels in the Discord, link down below. If you click show more, and you can talk all day with basically everybody that you see in the chat and about 5,000 more people as well. That's where all of this stuff goes down. That's where all the action is. That's where all the conversation happens to help make you the best player that you can be. So thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video. Bye.
He's a legend.